Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Alright, today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I was thinking back, I know my kids and I have been talking, and for us, we were talking about, wow, what a difference a year has made in our lives. So I know about this time last year, my videos posted about a week later, so we're a few weeks behind when it actually, our lockdown happened and when we were, had to go into quarantine, all that kind of stuff because of the way our world is. And we were like, wow, remember last year when everything was canceled and like, we didn't know what was happening, and it was like that sheer like moment of like, wow, like what is happening in our world. And so for myself, I didn't really like right away, it's not that I dismissed everything, but I just didn't let that panic set in. I didn't take what everybody was saying on media and all that stuff right away as like absolute truth or any of that stuff. And I thought, okay, well, we'll just do what we got to do, and so just to get through, just like everything else. And so, you know, over time and as things happened, I just I thought today would be a good day. We had some questions that we did in our small group at church, and I thought this might be something to answer as a little Q&A about my experience in quarantine this last year. And I can't really say in quarantine because we weren't really in quarantine. I say just my experience this last year with how the world happened with Mr. Grumpy right here. And hopefully not too loud of cars here on the highway. We live right by the highway, and the leaves have not sprouted up as much around to block the barrier. So I will talk a little bit louder. So I have some questions. So the first question is, what has surprised you the most about your quarantine experience? So for me, I know a lot of you have a lot different stories, so I'm just sharing mine. But what surprised me the most is that we weren't that affected. Now I say that meaning like we stay home a lot of the time. So for myself, it wasn't a huge upset. Like I already homeschool my kids, so they were already home. We only shop like once a month, so it wasn't really a big deal to like have to wait and get things. We had to do things a little bit different when it came to groceries, but it wasn't like we weren't like out of everything. I think one time we went, I waited and waited, and one time they limited everything, so I just went to a few different stores and shopped. It just took longer, which was no big deal. That was the only thing, so that surprised me, is that our life wasn't affected too much. We had to stay home from church, and that was canceled, and then that was upsetting. I know that was upsetting for the kids too, and then we couldn't go to the park, so we couldn't go do anything like that, and so that was kind of like, oh, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? And so just being at home, and we would go hiking and we'd go walking, that kind of stuff. But more of like that surprised me that it didn't really, I don't want to say it didn't affect me, but it didn't. I just realized it surprised me, the fact that we are home most of the time. So that was my surprise. What are some creative ways that I passed the time? I've made YouTube videos. No, my life still continued. I still worked doing YouTube videos each day, so that wasn't affected too much from it, but my kids, their lives were affected from it. So we made sure to implement things and make sure we played more games together, make sure that we spent more time together. We did more things, or we do fun things, or we'd have fun treats, or we would, you know, just sit and talk and do things like that, because otherwise it's like they're just all alone as well. It's like their life has been affected. Even though they're still at home, they still weren't able to see their friends. They still weren't able to do those kind of things. So creative, I guess, we just did more things together. I'm really tired of, I think everybody's tired of the mask. I understand the purpose of them, but I think everybody's tired of that. I'm really tired of people being very negative and very belligerent about things and their views, and that's, I mean, people are people. People do that all the time. People want to say their opinions. I'm saying my opinion right now. I'm not really saying my opinion, I'm just doing my experience, but I think that it comes to a point that it's sad to see people respond in fear and act out in fear to things, and you know that it's just fear. It's fear, and they're scared, so that's why they respond to things in the way that they do. So I guess I'm tired. I guess I'm not too tired of that, but it's just, I wish people would get along. Kind of, if you don't like something, that's okay. We can agree to disagree on things. And so that's that. What's my favorite board game? My favorite board game I've learned to love is Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride. Jade and I played that game over and over and over. We started playing that one, and we played Sequence a lot, and so that was one that we learned to play together. Just love playing that game. What's one I'm tired of playing? I'm tired of playing Sorry. My little kids like playing Sorry. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, this game could go on forever and ever. And I realized the new version has some new rules to it. So I had to like relearn them. I'm like, oh, they made it so that the game ends a whole lot quicker on the new game. But no, but it's still fun to play. How has your prayer life changed? My prayer life has changed because I've really been intentional with it this past year. Really focusing on things, having a prayer list to pray through. Not that before it was just haphazardly, but just instead of like, okay, I need to pray. It's my prayer time. I just need to pray. Thank you, Lord. You know, do these things. But having like an intentional list of people to pray for, situations to pray for. Even our pastor challenges us to do an enemy list. And I know an enemy list. Enemies are people that have disgruntles against you. Putting that on your prayer list. And so my prayer life has changed in the fact that it's a big priority in my life, because I see things changing. I see the effects of doing that. And so I've been making and writing in a prayer journal, which has helped. And then when I see prayers answered, it's good to go back and write those things down. So being intentional has been good for me that way. How have you seen God at work this past year? I've seen God in my own life by strengthening me and making me not falter on things. You know, the enemy will come and he'll just want to knock you down. He'll knock you down and he'll try to bring you down in any area that you're doing. And when you're following the Lord and you know, being so secure and solid and knowing that you're following what God wants for you, makes things, when the enemy comes and the attacks come, not even make you waver. And so I've been wanting to be so secure, and going, okay, Lord, what is it exactly I need to do? What is exactly I need to be saying? What is exactly I need to go? And being so sure that I'm following exactly what I need to be doing, that when the enemy comes to try to attack and say things and, you know, bring that anger and that strife, it's like I don't even flinch. I don't even flinch because I know it's okay. I'm not even worried. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And so being more of secure, grounded, like anchored in God and not wavering, because things happen. You see the news, one day it's this way, one day it's this way, one day it's down, one day it's up. We just have no idea. It changes all the time. And so not faltering or being swayed by what we're hearing that day, or when things come up and you get that like, oh, this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to be, or this could be how it's going to be, and not worrying about it, not worrying about that, not worrying about it financially, like where's the money going to come from, or what am I going to do, what if this ends, what if this goes, not even letting that bother me, and just saying, okay, God, I trust totally in you. I trust totally in you, and I'm putting that, I put my faith in that, I put my hope in that, and I believe that you're going to do it. And just so my faith has grown hugely in the last year, as far as that, where I feel like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God will always take care of me, and that I don't have to worry, I don't have to fear, no matter what's happening in the world, and just making that more security in myself. Share a tip with dealing with depression. Depression. I don't deal with depression like I used to. I used to deal with depression all the time. Many years ago. I wrote a book on it, of how I overcame it. Wrote a book, but I'm not plugging it, but it's plugging it because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I want to say, like, get my book, you have to pay. No, you can get it for free. It was something that people, they do like those inner healing things now. They do, I mean, the last few years, of course. But when I went through, like, healing my past wounds and went through a lot of healing of my past hurts, this was all before inner healing, before all these things. And so it's just getting alone with Lord and the Holy Spirit, and letting the Holy Spirit reveal to you the problems in your life, the things that you need to work on. And so I've already gone through that, healed that. Don't deal with depression at all. I feel like it can be easy to do if you didn't have, I feel like putting routines in your life helps that, because you're not, I think when you sit and you have to have time to think about things, and you have more free time just to let your mind wander, it's easily to get distracted. And so having routines set up, I always tell people when they're always like, how do you do what you do? How can I get there? I just feel so alone. I say, set up a routine. Set up a morning routine. Get a morning routine established for you, so you know what you're doing from the time you wake up until, 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Get that so set that it sticks, and it just becomes natural, and you do it. And then I'd say, okay, add an evening routine into your life. Get those two established. All right, well, now let's find another area in your day that you can kind of set up. And it doesn't have to be very rigid, but at least you know, like, instead of waking up in the morning going, what am I going to do today? What is my day going to be? Having, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I know what I'm going to get up and do each day. Does it happen every day? No. Like, If I need to sleep in, can I? Yes, absolutely. If I need to rest, I allow that time in my day. You know, not letting things like that just make it disrupt it. So having that routine has helped, I think, and it's helped my kids, because if not, they just wake up and, oh, it's tablet day all day, or I'm gonna stare at my phone all day long. And so having a routine in their life helps as well. So set yourself up a routine just to help deal with that. What worship song gives you the most comfort right now? I love worship songs. Those are my favorite. I have a huge playlist on my, you can look at my YouTube channel, and I listen to it all the time, I have a variety of songs, and they're all Christian songs. And one of my favorite right now, I don't think is very well known, and Sean Kieran, and he wrote the song, it's called I Want It All. And that has been my favorite song that I've been listening to over and over and over and over again. And so it's not, I like look at the views, I'm like, it's not very many views, but it's a powerful song. And so that's my favorite worship song right now. Sean Kieran, I Want It All. Go look below. It's in my playlist. What are you thankful for? What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for health. I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful that that God is present in my life. I'm thankful for Him, and I'm thankful that He allows me to do the things that I do. I'm very, very thankful. I'm very, very grateful for that. Thankful for my family. Thankful that I get to be with my kids each day, and that I can be with them. That's things that I'm thankful for. I mean, it's the simple things, right? Like your health. I'm thankful I have a home to live in. I'm thankful I have food to eat. I'm thankful that I don't worry or need to worry. And it's not that we are so set on things. It's just that I don't worry, because I know that God leads my life, and that God will always take care of me. So I'm thankful for that peace in my own life. Everybody can have it, but I'm so thankful I have it. What creative solutions or substitutions have you discovered? I feel like I do this every single day naturally, so it doesn't really bother me. Like, I'm big on gather your fragments, use what you have instead of running to the store and picking up what you have. So I don't think I've had to be creative. I think that, like, when there was a shortage of, you know, or ground beef was really high, okay, we just ate more chicken. Or when there was a shortage of, I don't even know what there was a shortage of. Like eggs. Okay, we just didn't eat that many eggs for breakfast. We didn't really have anything else that was short. The toilet paper was short, but it wasn't like awful here. You could still get toilet paper, and so and even right shortly after, you could go back. Like, there was just a few months where we buy for a month already, like a month and a half, and so that wasn't a big deal for us, like toilet paper shortages. And so we just we were able to have enough toilet paper with everything. It was just like, okay, just ration out your toilet paper. And then but we don't buy like the squishy name brand ones. We buy the, you know, commercialized ones. And so just a few months after, it went back to where you could buy 50 rolls of toilet paper for pretty much the same price from like the Scott's brand ones from Sam's Club. So that wasn't a big deal. Things I don't get is like Lysol. Like, I haven't, Lysol's hard to find, and I don't usually buy Lysol, but I like to have a can on hand for sickness, because we did go through sickness, and I like to be able to spray things down. I have one. Greg once in a while was able to find one at the Dollar General for me, and so, but that's the only thing that really hasn't. But then I've learned to discover the misting spray bottle that I made with my natural products, and using that. So bleach, I just more frugal on it. We don't use it that much, so that was kind of hard to find, but not really too much anything else. So haven't had to have too many substitutions. What have you found to be the hardest time of day while you were stuck at home? Ours was probably the afternoon, and so because we would always go, usually every day we will get out and do something. We would get to the park just to get out and get the kids. We have a yard here, but we don't really have like a play yard. It's more like, okay, it's just kind of like a mountain. You can walk up and down. You can only walk up and down your mountain so much, but we would go to the park and we'd play, because there's big play structures, and there's paths to ride their scooters on, things like that. And so the afternoon, when everything was closed and you couldn't go to the park, thankful we could still walk at the park, so I was glad. So we would just go and walk. That's what we would do. The kids would play in the grass and play like that. So that, if we couldn't go because it was winter or raining, that's probably the hardest time of day. And that's the hardest time of day all year round, because it gets cold or it's raining. So those are like the hours that you're like, oh, can we push through and do a little bit more? Because usually by the time dinner rolls around, you can sit and talk, play some games, watch a movie, and then go to bed. So in the morning's busy with just routines and school. So it's those afternoon hours that I have found were harder. I can't say the hardest. What's something fun you're doing to keep everyone's spirits up? We did start it during quarantine. We spent a lot of time playing games, but this year I've been implementing game and movie night. And so we make sure that each week on Wednesday we pick a different person, and they get to pick our game, and we play family game time. Everybody plays. We play for an hour. That's it. 1 hour. If you want to play more, go ahead. So, but the minimum is an hour that we play together. So we've been doing that. We've been playing we've been playing Apples to Apples. We got the Bible version. We were doing that. We like playing, what's that game? Dutch Blitz. We started, Steven's game was Pie in the Face. Oh yeah, Pie in the Face was fun. The kids were like, we're not doing that. I'm like, oh, you're doing it. And it was fun because we had, Evan was off that day, and so he sat and played with us, and it was fun. Kids had such a fun time with that game. It was fun seeing their reactions of like, oh, it's gonna get me, it's gonna get me, it's gonna get me, and then it did. And so just fun family time, and it lasted. It was only like 45 minutes, but we went right through to the end, had fun, and then we do movie night on Fridays, and so each person gets to choose their movie to watch as a family, and so we sit and watch the movie together. So we've been able to enjoy doing that, because we used to do that way back in the day when I had littles, because it was easy to sit and hold and nurse a baby. But over time, I can't say the last time I watched movies, and so I just don't watch a lot of movies, and so it just, because you get busy with life. And so doing that time, there's a lot of movies that like my younger ones have not even seen, like Facing the Giants. I'm like, they have never even seen that movie. I'm like, that's my favorite movie of all time. And so we've been able to rewatch those, and that's been good to connect as a family that way. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and just a little Q&As of how, I guess, answering how my life has changed since quarantine. I can't say it's been hugely. I know there's a lot of you that are still in lockdown in other countries, and that just, my heart just breaks for you. I'm like, that's just hard. It's Maxine, don't worry about Maxine. That's just heart-wrenching. I don't even know. I'm thankful for all the services they've come up with. I love that, like, grocery pickup has revolutionized and changed the world. I know it's not for the workers that have to do it, but I think, I was just talking to a friend, and I'm like, wow, if they would have had that back in the day when I had little kids, that would have helped my life hugely. So for all you mamas out there with little kids, greatest thing ever. For myself, it helps because I don't spend as much, because I just order and go pick everything up. I love that they have that. I love that. The stores, I'm bummed that the stores you couldn't go in and try things on, so I didn't like that. I had to go in and buy multiple things and then come home, try them on, and then take them back. I mean, for a while there, you couldn't even try things on. So I know for a while, my kids needed clothes. Like last year, they needed things for the summer, and I wouldn't take them into the store because of all what was going on. I just didn't want them around people because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I would just have to guess at what their shoe size was, or guess at what their clothes size was going to be, and it was all their changing. So, and then you couldn't return them. So I was like, you mean I can't return them? And they're like, no, you're not going to be able to return them, and we don't know when you're going to. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that was hard. So I ended up buying a couple flip-flops that were way too small. There's been a couple wasteful money that way because I couldn't return them and have them. And I'm like, well, good thing is we're not going anywhere. So just wear the small flip-flops this year, or, you know, stuff in that shirt's going to be a little bit fitting, but that's okay. So that was hard. So I'm thankful that you can try things on now. I'm thankful you can return things. Not every store tries on, but a lot of stores do, where I am at in the part of the country. But thankful you can do that. I love Amazon. Amazon has probably been great. I know that's not good for everybody, but loving that you can order something and return it, just drop in the mail, or the delivery guy will come pick it up. Those options have been good. Thankful for those, because that would make it very, very difficult to not be able to go get things, or if you have little kids to go in the grocery store, and especially during this time, it's like, you don't want to take all your little kids out with germs and people and everything else. You don't even want to do that when it's normal flu and cold season. And so thankful for those things. Thankful that the kids can get out and play. Thankful that the kids can get out and do things. Thankful they can play at the park and play on play structures and swing, all those things. You know what I mean? Again, that's always a good thing. So thankful we were able to go back to church. That was a good thing. That was hard. That was probably the hardest for my kids, because that's their big social. And so when we ended up going to Matthew and Lauren's church. They had an outdoor church service, and I remember I think it was Mother's Day. I think it was Mother's Day. No, it was Easter. I'm sorry, it was Easter, an Easter service. And so I remember everybody was parked in their cars, and it just made me emotional, because I went, it's something different about everybody. Like, you can worship online. Yes, that's fine. You're able to connect, you can get on there and do that. But when you come together with the body of believers in person like that, like this, the Holy Spirit is just there, and it's just that whole congregation of people, and there's something powerful about that. And so it was just a very, it made me go, wow, I really miss gathering and going to church. You know, we were able to still go and do a few things and help do things for online services, things like that, but we weren't able to get together with our entire church body. And so when we had that first church service outside, I was like, wow, we miss church. And so when church opened back up, we were so very thankful for that day. And so, and we've still been doing that, thankful for that and be able to be part of it. Just got to stretch it out a little bit more than we used to do, but that's okay. You got to do what you got to do. So thankful for those things, thankful for that things, not that they're getting back to normal, but just that I guess allowing a few of those things that you once enjoyed able to do again. So all right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys again tomorrow with another day in the life, probably something with food, I am sure. So you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you. Okay, bye. For those of you that want to stay, I'm going to read our psalm for the day. Psalm 62. God alone a refuge from treachery and oppression. For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my defense and my strong tower. I will not be shaken or disheartened. How long will you attack a man so that you may murder him, all of you, like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence? They consult only to throw him down from his high position, to dishonor him. They delight in lies. They bless with the words of their mouths, but inwardly they curse. For God alone my soul waits in silence and quietly submits to him. For my hope is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress and my defense. I will not be shaken or discouraged. On God my salvation and my glory rest. He is my rock of unyielding strength. My refuge is in God. Trust confidently in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Men of low degree are only a breath, emptiness, and men of high rank are a lie, delusion. In the balances they go up, because they have no measurable weight or value. They are together lighter than a breath. Do not trust in oppression, and do not vainly hope in robbery. If riches increase, do not set your heart on them. God has spoken once, twice I have heard this. That power belongs to God. Also to you, O Lord, belong loving kindness and compassion, for you compensate every man according to the value of his work.